My dear boys, I'm here again to talk about something that affects me a great bit. You see, during my childhood I played a lot of games, and of those games I happened to play and then replay the Mario RPGs over and over again. To me as a European, that meant Paper Mario and the Mario and Luigi games, since you know Mario RPG released later on the Wii for us. Either way, I think we can all agree that the Mario RPGs are special, or at least were when they still were made. Following the bankruptcy of Alpha Dream, the developer of the Mario and Luigi games, as well as the interesting to say the least direction of the new Paper Mario games, basically ended the traditional JRPG Mario formula. This has left a sour feeling for me to say the least, and I presume that if you're watching this, then chances are it did the same to you. The Mario RPGs really used to be special, like absolutely special. They all featured simple but fantastic stories, aside from you, along with very intuitive gameplay that someone like me could never get enough of. We had everything from simple rescuing stories to saving the world from a galactic civilization in search of a new home, thus essentially eradicating an entire species for the fight of survival, adventuring through vast lands in search of treasure to eventually find an ancient demon threatening to destroy the world. We see everything from the highest of happiness down to real sorrow in these games. Like man, everything just hits me so hard in these games. Perhaps the most loved story of all in these games comes from Super Paper Mario on the Wii, which depending on how you look at it might fit or not fit with the other Mario RPGs. Either way, this is the one with arguably the most impactful story of them all. It tells the tale of how loss, grief and betrayal really can shape someone from being truly good into being truly broken. To tell these stories, all games feature amazing soundtracks, capturing immense emotions and a sense of scale. What you're listening to right now is the final battle theme of Mario and Luigi Partners in Time. You choose for yourself what you think of it. Aside from being all serious, the games all feature, as I said before, very intuitive gameplay. Battles are hectic and require strategy as well as a good reaction and timing. Overworld exploration almost always is just as fun thanks to the load of ways to move about and explore. And it's the same with writing. Characters almost always have a lot to say and build the world in a way only Mario really can. Well, the games aren't perfect of course, but they still mean a lot to me. When Paper Mario turned from an action RPG to an action adventure with Sticker Star, I wasn't sure what to expect at first. Nintendo later confirmed they made the choice because of not wanting to keep two Mario RPGs going at the same time, that being Mario and Luigi and Paper Mario. Now, I always thought that was a bad move on their part even then, but when the time finally came when Alpha Dream announced their bankruptcy, I was left stunned. What would happen now? And truthfully, nothing did happen. At the time of writing this, it's not known if Nintendo hired the ex-Alpha Dream developers or just let them go. Paper Mario is still here at least, but it's not the same. After getting rid of essentially all RPG mechanics aside from turn-based battles, the games are now filled with tons and tons of lame paper jokes and a lack of identity. Don't get me wrong, I still enjoy them, but not to the same extent as I did before. It's like when a YouTuber you've loved for years starts doing something completely different. Some people won't stay with them during that time, since that's not what they subscribed for in the first place. That's just how it is, and it's okay for things to change, to take a different direction every now and then. But with the massive backlash all new Paper Mario games get, and the complete disappearance of any other Mario RPG, it just doesn't sit right with me. Even worse is the fact that someone at Nintendo keeps limiting the Paper Mario developers from even creating new original characters anymore. Essentially forcing them only to work with established Mario characters like Toad, like a lot of Toads. I mean, compare that to the Shroops from Partners in Time again, or maybe the Punies from Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door. It all just makes me sad. I keep hoping for something that seems to drift further away every day. But things aren't all bad, it seems. For you see, dear boy, the original Mario RPG director Chihiro Fujioka recently expressed desire to create a sequel to that game. So, stick around and hear my thoughts on what possible shape this game could take in my opinion. And then, when the video is over, share your thoughts if you have any, okay? First and foremost, gameplay. I think we can all agree that we don't need any of the modern Paper Mario battle mechanics coming back, like, ever again. I mean, I think this is pretty obvious, but make sure that there is a reason to engage in battles, also known as experience points, or EXP. Simple, right? EXP and money like the original Paper Mario works very well for these kinds of games. Star points, or whatever they call it, is something I can see being implemented. Going on from this, the ability to sorta level up moves or do the advanced input thing from Mario Luigi Superstar Saga should definitely be added. The reason for this is quite simply action commands, aka the process of influencing a move in battle by pressing buttons at the correct timings or in different orders and such. Action commands have been featured in all Mario RPGs and would be sorely missed if by any chance they disappeared. To my knowledge, most JRPGs don't even feature them aside from the Mario ones. And that's so strange to me, seeing as they blend in so well, making each and every battle way more intuitive. But yeah, action commands. Keep them. Fundamentally, Mario RPG, Mario and Luigi, and Paper Mario play very differently and thus can't just mix randomly. Still, I try to find the parts that can fit to sorta represent all sides of the perspective. So before moving on with what kinds of special moves could work, let's talk about how many players you'd play as. Mario alone, Mario and Luigi, Mario and several party members. In my opinion, I prefer the Mario and Luigi setup the best, but hey, everyone's different. Still, seeing as it's Mario RPG that would get this hypothetical sequel, it's only right if I talk in that context. That means 3 or more party members that would be able to be switched out as you progress through the game. So what I have in mind, given the conditions of the project and my own hopefulness, is something similar to, and I'm sorry to mention it again, Mario and Luigi, Partners in Time. Mainly because in that game, if you didn't know, you control both Mario and Luigi as usual, but also Baby Mario and Baby Luigi. This means all attacks in the game utilize all 4 face buttons of the Nintendo DS. Each and every attack used with all 4 bros present changed the way they were performed. Examples being the green and red shell and the chain jump. Now, these attacks could be used with the 2 out of the 4 bros being present, but as you might have guessed, the damage output potential is higher with everyone being present. Having said that, I think if the party would consist of 3 characters as in the original Mario RPG, there are 2 possible outcomes for how special attacks could be handled. First is that all special attacks are simple enough that all characters could use them while still making sense in the actual game world. Like, kicking a shell is something I can see all characters from the original Mario RPG do, but something like the wild acrobatics seen in the Mario and Luigi games is something I can't see Peach or even Gino do, for example. So basically, this scenario would make all attacks a little bit less flashy, I suppose. However, my next theory is that all special attacks could be party specific, meaning that the available special attacks to use in battle is entirely based upon the team setup you have going on. Going by the original Mario RPG again, let's say Mario, Peach and Bowser attack together. Basically something like Mario and Bowser shooting fire while Peach power both of them up. Or Gino and Mallow and Mario all use different elemental attacks, sorta like Tri-Attack from Pokemon. I think that sounds okay, but what about you? And of course I see the way you could screw yourself over with a bad team combo for like a boss, but it shouldn't be all that hard to let the players switch out characters on the go or at save stations. Now, I'm not saying the game must feature all characters from the original Mario RPG, although if you know me, I love Gino, so he'd be nice to have back. And so I think this sorta segues into the story segment of it all. I won't bore you with an OC Mario story from the ground up, but what I will say is that I would absolutely appreciate a darker story like Mario and Luigi, Bowser's Inside Story. And yeah, that's a personal preference, but with how Paper Mario has been handling the story as of late, I think it would be a welcome refresher. Oh, and again, just to be clear, I don't hate the new Paper Marios. I really enjoyed Color Splash and well, I found Sticker Star's music to be good at least. Either way, I definitely want some humor and that sprawling Mario world feeling, aka a new place to explore with new characters and villains to face. World exploration is a tricky point. I enjoy all styles of exploration for different reasons really, but if I had to pick one that would suit this game, seeing as it's probably most similar to the original Mario RPG, I would definitely pick something like a mixture between the original and Paper Mario again. That means the world itself shouldn't be as crazy as the Mario and Luigi games, but also not just plain and boring. Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door had some immensely fun exploration for someone like me who loves interacting with the world. Stuff like folding into a flat plane to sneak between buildings or folding into a paper airplane to fly over large distances. In my opinion, the more action-oriented approach to exploration seen in the Mario and Luigi games never was that special to me. What I mean is that worlds every now and then could more or less feel like obstacle courses rather than a believable world. And in some cases, it even became obstacle courses like a race against someone or against a time limit. That sort of thing is just not for me. I couldn't care less about racing in my RPG games. But being able to use your partner's natural abilities to explore would definitely be a welcome addition. Like Mallow to float over gaps, or maybe Gino to shoot down certain walls. Like that itself seems way more fun to me. And that, my boys, sorta wraps up my general ideas for this hypothetical game. And this video is getting a little bit long, so I don't want to keep you sitting here forever. As I mentioned in the beginning, I really love the Mario RPGs, and I couldn't imagine a world without them, seeing as they held such a special place in my heart during my childhood. The epic battles and emotionally driven stories really resonated with me on another level. It hurt me more than I can describe when Alpha Dream left us, and it still pains me to see new Paper Marios being released in the states that they are in. I hope the days of a true Mario RPG aren't over, not only for me, but for what they brought to the table, so to say. Thanks so much for watching this emotional video of mine. And hey, if you're hearing this, then thanks for staying around and hearing me out. Have a good one, dear boys.